All right, we are in a newer Platinum Explorer. I'm going to put the vehicle in reverse. It's in reverse right now. Listen to the sound, the popping sound it makes from outside. Listen. You heard that pop? Now listen going forward. See, it popped again. Listen. Axel.
Ting, go.
So 32 millimeter, or you can use like I think it's like 1.25 inches. Go ahead and break the nut loose. It's going to be kind of difficult. You can go back in with the same nut, but they want you to Loctite it when you go back together. So what I do is I break it loose, I run it in a little bit until it starts to get tough to put on there. I stop, and I go over to the other side. Same thing. You can see all the debris that came out of it. That's the Loctite. So run it in as much as I can. It gets tight, and I'll tap these back in, tap them loose. You tap it until it starts moving. Here, hold it. Put a little bit of like WD-40 or PB Blaster inside the hole to loosen up some of the surface tension back in there. And the splines back there. Alright, so I sprayed it all over inside there with PB Blaster, and I put the nut back on. I'm going to pull it back through and tap it back in again. I like to grab some brake clean and some shop air and clean the hole out. Now I'm going to paste some high temp bearing grease back in there with an acid brush in a container of high temp bearing grease. I'm going to paste it all over the threads inside there. Now lift it up in the air a little bit more, or climb underneath it and do the back side of the splines. Ay, 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 ay. Hold it. Hold it. Now that everything is lubed up, pull it back through again. did was it was a little harder to put the CV axles in because the parking brake was set. We should have released the parking brake first, but it's fine. You got to get the CV axles in as much as possible, and then sometimes you have to have somebody hold a pry bar on the back side and keep the CV axle in while you lubricate the splines from the outside, and then while they're holding it, you lubricate the splines in the back. If you leave the parking brake set, yeah, you got to tap it in some, but that tension holds it where it needs to be. You don't have to have a second person there, and you can lubricate the splines inside the wheel bearing area, and then go to the back side and lubricate the splines, and then when the two of them meet together as you pull it through, it will start lubricating everything, and it breaks that surface tension between the CV axle splines and the wheel hub. I actually created this work through on this when I worked at the Ford dealer, and I found out they were actually trying to implement this as a TSB, but it never got implemented. This is how I fix them for the customers that don't want to go to the dealership. They come to me, I charge them an hour, I clean up everything, I use some high temp wheel bearing grease, I torque everything back down, and they don't get the clicking anymore. So let's hear what it sounds like after I just finished the procedure. So the clicking is gone now. What you hear is the drive shaft binding up and the suspension loading up, but that very tinny type ting is gone. Say that 5 times fast. Tinny type ting, tinny type ting. I bet you can't say that 5 times fast. Tinny type ting. Anyway, it's gone. That's the surface tension in between the CV axle and where the splines meet up with the wheel bearing. When you break that and you lubricate it, it doesn't do that ting ting as it's breaking away. That's it. That's the fix for it. That's all I got. Y'all be blessed. Take care.